This video we're going to kind of go over results. I got the 300 blackout upper. I got a chance to take it to the range and test it out. I did the other video where I showed you where I was building it, so the details of what I got there will be in that video. But I took it out, and basically what I did is I took the parts off of a M4 carbine, the bolt, operating handle, and the lower, put the upper on. Now in the video I didn't have it quite completed. I was trying to do that this morning, and I ran into all kinds of problems. But the reason I didn't quite put it all together was it's got a pistol length gas system, and there's two things you can do. You can either put the pistol length gas tube, or you can get, like in that video, this carbine length that's curled around. So you basically, on the short distance, have a longer gas tube. And that's kind of critical because like in a video, and they're not too good because I'm like trying to do a couple things. I had a bunch of problems. My chronograph crapped out on me. These sights, these flip-up sights, I intend on putting a red dot sight on here, but it's on back order. So I had these polymer flip-up sights. Then no matter what I did, there's no adjustment for elevation on the rear sight, and I ran the front sight post down as low as I could, but I was still shooting way low. So that wreaked havoc on the whole testing and shooting the gun. But in a video, what I did is I put that short gas tube in. Then I have some Gemtech ammo and 300 blackout. And what it was is I got this stuff because it wasn't that expensive. Factory loaded ammo is expensive. I had a 147 grain supersonic load, and I believe this is a 187 grain subsonic load of 1,050 feet per second. Okay, so I know what subsonic is. Both of these cartridges with a standard A4 carbine setup and buffer and spring function fine, and that's what the first part of the video, that's what I do. Like I said, because I had problems with the sights and everything got all kind of twisted up there. But I found that I did test reloads, and I'm going to make a video on reloading because it's a complicated subject, but you have a wide range of velocities with just one bullet. You can go, like I was using 150 grain, you can go subsonic to sonic. So what I found is once you start going over, like with 150 grain bullet, it's probably different with the different weights of different types of bullets. Once I started going over 1,700 feet per second and up, say 1,750, that's where I say the violent ejection, because with an AR, basically when you fire the gun, you want the brass to land kind of over your shoulder behind you. It's perfect. That means that the system, the right amount of gas is being tapped off. It's ejecting the case without really forcing the action. If you got a stiffer load and you fire it and kind of the brass lands right, parallel to your shoulder, like right here, okay, you're still all right. They say it ain't that bad, but ideally you want the gun to operate as softly as possible. And if you're throwing brass like forward out at an angle, like say the 1-2 o'clock position, your gun's the action's functioning real hard, and what it'll do is just wear the gun out. The gun will wear out faster. You're putting a lot of stress on stuff, and that's when things start to break. It's kind of just, and again, it's my opinion. Okay, that's what I've heard, and I found that if you're really flinging the brass out forward of you, you're over-gassing the gun. You could either adjust the springs, the buffers, or the length of the gas tube. Okay, so we had good function with the factory ammo, and as you'll see in the videos, everything was going good until I got to where I was getting up to 1750. And the two powders I used, IMR 4227 and Little Gun. Now, the best target I got with the IMR 4227 was this one. And that's about the best grouping I got. And I think that was 16 grains. And it's just about averaging out at 1700 feet per second. Now the Little Gun, and another thing, like I said, I got to make a separate video on reloading because it's complicated, confusing. I loaded on the high end, and all of my stuff from the basic one was in excess of 1700. Because that Little Gun, you can go to 2000 feet per second. Most of them come out with a wide spread like this. Okay, and the best was the 15 grains, the Little Gun. It was kind of the best group. You got to remember too, the sights are off, so I'm aiming up here trying to hit down on the bull and had all kinds of problems. So I decided to go and just leave the pistol length tube in there, not use that curled one for now. So I came home and I noticed this free floating handguard I got is a discount one. It was under 50 bucks. Kind of loosened up. So what I did this morning, I was going to put it together and Loctite everything down. So I pulled the handguard off, Loctited the gas block and the little dimpled screws in, then tried to get this timed up to the receiver, and when that one bolt on the bottom here locks in, it kind of twists it off just a hair. It does not line up right and lock in place. And if you don't, if you line the receiver up to where your rail here up in here is matched up even, when you shoot that, it comes loose, and then this whole the whole handguard will rock back and forth on you. So I'm going to use, like I said, a red dot sight, so I'm going to mount that on the receiver, so this being slightly out of alignment isn't an issue. But bear that in mind when you get these, least expensive things made in China, the affordable versions. Now another thing, I had this, I bought also this is a cap to go on the end of this free float handguard, and I tried getting this on there, and this handguard is so far off I couldn't get the cap on there without pushing and pulling, and then if I put the cap on, it would be putting pressure against the barrel in there. So I have to take this to work. It's just a cosmetic thing. Bore that out, another 20-30,000 so we don't touch the barrel. So when I bolt it on here to the end of this free-floating handguard, it ain't touching the barrel, because then it defeats the purpose of having a free-floating handguard. Now I know why a lot of people don't put the things on there. But I put it on there for a cosmetic reason, to keep crap from falling down in there. Which also, that lends to a problem. I'm going to have to clamp the barrel in the barrel vise to tighten down the muzzle brake, which if you look in the videos I didn't have it on. Because I don't want to have to pull it on, pull it off, and go through a whole pack of crush washers just to get it tuned in. So this is still loose, but I just got a muzzle brake that fit the barrel threads. And that was the one I found that wasn't in the $80, $90 price range. So that's how I'm going to build it. I'm going to probably build a standalone gun. I've ordered parts to put a lower together and another bolt, so I'll have have it all set and ready by itself. You don't have to. I mean, the whole idea is just to get a barreled upper and then use your 223 AR parts to have a different caliber. And actually the idea is to save you money. But I'm going to build a standalone gun for now. I could take it all apart and use, build something else. That's the neat thing about the AR-15 system. So So yeah, so now these video clips are me on the range test firing this. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of work, a lot more testing, trying to iron this out. And I think what it all comes down to is you got to decide what you're going to do. I decided to keep the cartridges in the mid-range, not super fast, not trying to get like a AK-47 performance. I think if you leave them in kind of a middle range, but see, I haven't tested this stuff out to 100, 200 yards. See how it shoots accurately. If you got a huge bullet, I know the subsonic stuff, you got a giant bullet drop, shooting some of the heavier bullets out 200 yards. So that's just going to be in the future some more work. And here's when we were out to range testing it. Okay, we're out here with our 300 blackout build, and I have some factory ammo, sonic and subsonic, and we're just going to test it out with the gas, because the thing is I just got that straight pistol gas tube, and we want to see how the gun reacts and functions with sonic and subsonic ammo. First up, subsonic. Okay, subsonic ammo is functioning the gun. The brass is landing right where it should. So this carbine will function well with subsonic. Now I'm going to try the sonic ammo. That's it. Okay, now the sonic. Surprisingly, function is 100%. And the brass is landing back behind me where it should. And that's with a standard carbine buffer. Alright, now we're going to go and I'm going to run my reload tests with IMR 227 little gun and see what we come up with. Okay, we had a bit of a sighting problem. These plastic flip-up sights had to dial it in. Now we're running the reloads. And sonic, subsonic, everything with the pistol gas tube, the straight pistol gas tube, is functioning fine. The brass is landing back where it is. So the carbine's cycling with the ammunition. I'm not running into a problem of short cycles or whatever. It seems to be functioning fine. And I like this cartridge. What I'm doing is testing my reload, going to come up with a reload and reload some ammo, and then we'll take it out and see what it can really do. Okay, everything's been going fine until with my reloads, and 115 or 150 grain bullets is what I was using, full metal jacket. Until we got up to about the 1700 feet per second mark, the brass was going where it should go. And the importance of that is where your brass lands tells you how violent or how your action is working. Once we got up to 1700 feet per second, the brass started landing alongside me up forward, which isn't bad, but I like it going behind me. Proves my action. So what I'm going to do is I have another buffer. I'm going to replace the standard carbine buffer with an H1 buffer. and see what it does. And then at the end of this video, I'll tell you how it all worked out. Alright, we did our run with IMR 4227. Once we reached a certain velocity, it started throwing shells different. I put the H1 buffer in. It really didn't have much of a change. It kind of got some of the cases back. And I'm going to leave it in and then run my other powder and see if the H1 buffer makes a difference or I get any stoppages. But again, when I do a review of this, I'll give my thoughts on the velocities.